Welcome to the Maritime Monthly podcast. I'm Joedian Munroe, Internal Communications Lead at the Caribbean Maritime University. This month, we're exploring our theme from ideas to impact and discovering how the right guidance, mentorship, and determination are helping turn ideas into businesses that create opportunities, strengthen industry, and contribute to national development. Today, I have with me Jehan McFarlane, the Small Business Development Officer here at the CMU. Hi, Jehan. Just want to ensure that I'm getting the name correctly. Can you pronounce it for us?
It's Jehan.
Okay. All right, great. It's so lovely to have you here with us today. We're going to be discussing CMU and how we're playing an impact in equipping students, graduates, entrepreneurs, how we are just serving our nation. So, first question I want to ask is, with the SBDC, what problem were we here at CMU trying to solve by establishing our own branch of the SBDC on campus?
I think one of the problems that existed was we had a lot of students who were doing researches that were quite good, I should say, and they had the potential of being commercialized. However, we had no opportunities here on campus for that to be done. So having our own small business development center would give these students the opportunity to come into us, speak with us, and see how they can bring their research, bring it to life, and bring it to the market, instead of just having these projects, these researches, I should say, sitting in our libraries, sitting on our shelves. We can turn these these research
ideas, topics, projects,
right, into a business that is quite successful.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so basically just turning our students or graduates into innovators, job creators,
right.
A tangible link between us and economy. Right, okay, great. So when you think CMU, I know you don't necessarily, you think maritime, you think ships, you think logistics. You probably don't necessarily think, the average person wouldn't necessarily think that entrepreneurship is important in our vision, in our mission. So I would want you to kind of make that link for our listeners. Like, why is entrepreneurship important to CMU's mission and what we're doing here?
As a university, we are here to prepare students for their careers. So we are building them through education. However, not everyone will walk the typical path of a career as a seafarer or in the customs industry. So having our own business center, we can give them another opportunity to build businesses, to create wealth, as they say. Mm-hmm. So that's the link. We educate them. The Small Business Development Center is that bridge that brings everybody together.
Okay. And in your work, I know you've worked with not only students, but staff. You've worked with a wide cross-section of persons here on campus. I would want to ask you, as you have been, working, supporting, helping business persons kind of have more clarity around what they're doing, giving them the services, the resources that they need. What has success looked like in this process?
I think when somebody comes into the office unsure, they have an idea, but they're doubtful. But then when we sit, we talk it through, and they leave feeling more confident than how they came in. They come back to say, Miss McFarlane, I think this can work. And you actually see them building out the the quote unquote bad idea or the business idea that they thought was so silly. That's successful for me. They came in feeling one way, but then they left feeling empowered, and you actually see them do the work and create the product that they thought they couldn't do.
I think you kind of bled into my next question. My next question would have been, what transformation have you seen? I think you've kind of started to, but if you could go a little deeper into what you've shared so far, like what transformation have you seen in the entrepreneurs that you've helped here at CMU?
As I mentioned, someone coming in thinking that their business idea was not good enough for market. There was this young man. He came to the office, and I think he was overly confident about his idea. And as he began to explain, his plans, I thought to myself, this for a student who might be limited in terms of resources, this is a good idea, but this should not be his starting product. Of course, I'm not going to discourage him. So I allowed him to, give me all the plans he had. And then when I started to ask questions pertaining to, the startup cost and, how are you going to acquire equipment? He said, maybe this is not such a good idea. So I said, no, it's a good idea. However, this shouldn't be, I don't think this should be your starting point. And he said, okay. And we started to, do some brainstorming, and we landed on one idea. He wasn't really sure about it, but he went home and he came back to me maybe 2-3 weeks after with another plan, which was, I thought, more viable, right? And we talked it through, and we kind of built it out a little bit more. And he came back maybe another month or so. He had a whole plan, posters printed, and he had a sample for me of his product. And I thought to myself, he could have just said, he came in there enthusiastic. He kind of deflated after a while when I told him that the plan didn't sound as something he should have started with. But he didn't throw it away. He went home, he thought it through, and he came back with a product that was ready for market. So I think this is an example of
how the transformation that you'd have seen on the campus.
Yeah. So he came in, enthusiastic, got a little deflated, but still, he left being the entrepreneur that he I believe he knew that he really was.
Yeah, totally understand that. And I would want to kind of follow up with that and ask about other businesses that reminds you of that, what the work you're doing and why it matters. So let me go back a little. First, I'd want you to kind of just give our listeners an idea of the type of work that you're doing. I know that we're touching on bits of and pieces, but as a small business development officer, when you come in to campus on a daily basis, like, the first part of this question is, what type of work are you doing with our students, with our entrepreneurs? And then I would love if you could share a story, an experience, a business that you would have worked with, and just how that reminded you of the importance of what you and of what CMU is doing and why it matters now.
I am the Small Business Development Officer. However, being on campus, that really isn't all I focus on in terms of development of the students or anybody else who comes in business-wise. There are persons who will walk into my office and they come in for business advice, but then we end up talking about other things that are not necessarily relating to their business. it may be someone who is feeling down. And we start out having conversations, maybe me encouraging them to, just try and motivate them. I had a student once and he was struggling in school. He was a registered client of the business, struggling in school. And I had to sit with him for about an hour, trying to encourage him to, focus on what he needs to, and just helping him to see that, listen, this might be challenging, but it's not the end of the road. So I feel like sometimes I'm not just a business development officer. I think I play the role of a counselor sometimes. I don't know, for some reason they're comfortable talking to me. So I always tell them my door is always open to you. As to respond to the question, other parts of the question, there was this student, and when I was assessing her in terms of the business opportunity, I asked her, why do you want to become a business owner? Why do you want to own your own business? And I remember she said to me, Miss, I've seen my mom struggle all these years, and I don't want to struggle like her, nor do I want my family to struggle. And she said, if I start my business now, I'll have enough time, the business can grow, and I can help my family. And I thought to myself, all right, so she's not just one of these people who want to just, I don't want to work for anybody else. I want to be my own boss. She wasn't thinking along the normal line. She was thinking, I need to help my family. And if I can be a part of someone's journey in terms of them helping another person to grow, another person to develop, then it makes the job a lot more meaningful. It makes coming to CMU, it gives a lot more energy and vigor to come here every day, because you realize that it's not just the business aspect, but you're actually helping someone else to change lives.
And I think in the changing of individual lives, we're able to change the nation. Do you have I know I'm digging for stories, but do you have another experience that you could share, which is like linking with just what's going on in our economy? I know that right at this present moment, we are really very focused on contributing to nation building from our corner of Jamaica.
Which one should I give you now? I had a client once who, a lot of persons these days, they're into what do you call it now, the healthy lifestyle, wellness, right? But when he came, his business idea was towards a product that was quote unquote not as healthy, right? And we talked about it, and he had everything in place, all the plans were there, and he came back once and said, I don't think this is going to work, not because the product isn't good, but I don't think a lot of persons will be able to afford it. And he came up with another business idea. We worked through the plan. He was able to start the business. Actually, I think he employed one person to actually start working with him to do deliveries and stuff like that. So we actually see him contributing because he was able to employ one person. That's one additional person in our country who did not have a job. I think this is an example of how we are contributing to building our nation.
I know we're kind of winding down. I kind of have two more questions for you. What is CMU able to accomplish, or what are we achieving now through our SBDC?
One of the things that we have been doing through the center is professional development of our small business owners. In February of last year, we started our logistics and supply chain training, which was specifically targeting small business owners. And we went across the island covering we had participants from every parish who came, and we had over 600 participants who are part of this training, and we were able to deliver to all persons knowledge concerning logistics and supply chain that everyone needs. They left feeling empowered. You had persons saying, they had knowledge that could help their business to improve. And at the moment, we have engaged the Jamaica Urban Transit
JUTC
Company,
right,
and they have also come on board with our logistics and supply chain training, and all these trainings are being routed through the SBDC. So we are a business development center. However, we have reached over to the
logistics sector, other sectors that need entrepreneurs.
Right. And just expanding our reach and to
business. In light of that answer, I kind of just want to ask, where do you hope the center is in the next 5 to 10 years?
I want CMU's SBDC to be the first place that a budding entrepreneur or an existing entrepreneur thinks to come when they desire business support. CMU should be the first start. I want us to be able to create more entrepreneurs, have even stronger partnerships across not just Jamaica, but even partnerships outside of Jamaica to support our small business owners. So yeah, that for me, I want CMU to be the center, to be the place of choice. Once you think business support, then it's a CMU.
Okay, thank you so much, Jehan, for sitting with me today. It was a pleasure to discuss just entrepreneurship and just what we're doing here at CMU with you.
Thank you so much, Jody. Thank you for having me.